that's from?
Oh, you're gonna like this, the Seattle area. Libtard Nation. Fucking ridiculous.
Well, at least you didn't say it like you had your hat in your hand.
No, and I never do.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
No.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I'm a veteran, I'm a patriot, and I am a strong constitutional conservative, and I think it's fucking disgusting the way our world is going right now, and the fact that we have to kowtow to all this liberal hypocrisy. I love that now that all this shit's coming out about all these other fucking perverts and everything like that who, when they can't run away and hide anymore. And hide for all these years, and we're the ones casting dispersions upon everybody else, and now it's come around to them. Yeah.
Just so you know, you're being YouTubed.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
As long as they can't see my eyes and face, that's fine.
What do you do back there in Seattle?
Well, if I'm being YouTubed, I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah, okay, sounds like government work to me.
What's that?
Sounds like government contractor work. I know, ex-military. You might be, I don't know. You might be even like, you know, who knows?
Might be, yeah. Who knows?
Yes, I didn't give you anything.
Thank you for pointing that out to me, hon. I didn't want to get too lippy with this guy here, huh? What this is actually just a whole cover-up operation. So that way they can start tracking me now. Next thing you know, I'm going to have a little beep in the back of my neck.
I've always thought that if I was indeed working within like the government to, you know, monitor, I look at my YouTube channel because I'm talking to people from around the world here in all walks of life.
Right, right.
You know, just listening to what they say. It's why I'm out here. Well, I mean, it's just great, like that. You know, to be able to show off the idiocy on camera. That's where the main thing is happening.
Right, right.
Of course, I get into some great conversations with people that actually have something to say.
Well, and who actually support everything going on here. You know, again, we live in a very a world filled with hypocrisy right now.
Yeah.
And it do as we say that you should do, not do as you should do, and we want to just continue taking from you more and more power. I tell people, none of these people take your whole pie from you at once. They take it bite by bite. And the bite by bite means that every time they say to you, we're just going to have this little bite here, you can have the rest of your pie. And you're not paying attention because what's one bite? One bite doesn't ever do anything to you. But you turn your back and say, okay, you can have that bite. Yeah. I'm going to go back to living. Oh, you want another bite? What's one bite going to do? Next thing you know, you turn back around and your entire pie is gone. And you allowed it to happen bite by bite.
Yeah.
And that's
if they try to do it all at once, it'd be a rebellion.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing about gun control. Gun control isn't to stop the criminals, because criminals are always going to find weapons. I mean, look at Chicago, Baltimore, D.C., New York City. People are getting shot there all the time. They're the strongest gun control laws in our country. It has nothing to do, though, with controlling the criminals. It has to do with controlling the non-criminal element, so that whenever somebody finally does step up and say, enough is enough, oh, but they took all of our guns and we let them do it, bite by bite. And
well, let me ask you, do you think that they've jumped the shark in cases like the Kate Steno case where they let that immigrant go? Do you think they've jumped the shark there? Because that is just off the charts.
Well, I can't believe that, A, they allowed this guy to be, you know, tried in San Francisco in the first place, because you already knew that there was going to be a biased jury selection from that. You know, I mean, and then secondly, you know, to sit there and say that they were going to let this guy walk out of the courthouse, a free man, without even contacting the federal authorities. Thank God, at least somebody had the right, you know, frame of mind, sit there and say, we're going to be waiting outside for this guy. And they tried to sneak him out of the back of the courthouse to allow him to run free. And I sit there and I think, these people, how would they feel if that was their daughter?
Oh, sure.
I'll give you a for instance. So I had worked in Connecticut for a number of years. There was a physician there whose wife and two daughters were, two guys broke into their house, bound, gagged, and tied the wife and two daughters up, raped them repeatedly, and then set them on fire while they were still alive. Burned the house down around them and burned them. Now this guy is a physician himself, was a raging liberal. Thought, oh my God, you know, I mean, he actually, you know, had been on record as getting, you know, doing the many liberal fundraisers. Now he's running as a Republican. He wants to have the death penalty reinstated in Connecticut because these people who killed his family. You know, he's like, well, there's no justice. Well,
that'll change it overnight.
Exactly. Whenever you become the victim, you change very quickly your tune. the whole thing is, I think that, not enough people have become victims. I hate to say it like that, but not enough people have become victims. Not that I espouse making anybody a victim.
Now, of course, other things that make sense, like even the Bundy case now was thrown out because even that incredibly biased judge couldn't take the obviousness of the crime. Right. And now we got Uranium One.
Exactly. What's going on with the Uranium One deal and everything that's coming out with that? Yeah. Look at all the actual collusion, within the Obama administration. How about the fact that they actually stopped the investigation and to take basically anything that we're doing against Hezbollah? Yeah. They stopped that in order to get the Iran deal to go through. Yeah. After we snuck in $1.3 billion in various funds, plastic wrap dropped off basically in a parachute, like they used to do the heat drops back in Vietnam. Open the KC-130, pop the chute, let it drag off from there, so all they had to do is touch and go, and that was it. You look at these things, you're thinking, why has this not been investigated? Oh, yeah, that's right, because, at that point in time, it was a Democrat-controlled and this, again, hypocrisy. The Democrats get behind Democrats 100%. And I don't understand why Republicans and conservatives just can't get behind Trump. Listen, he might not have been who you wanted for the office, but by God, he was the right man at the right time and knows what the people voted for.
Well, I think that has to do with the fact that the corruption bleeds over into both.
Of course.
And so you've got, that.
Is there really two different parties amongst the old guard there? No, there's not. And having had a brother who worked in the Pentagon for numerous years, and then I'd go visit him in D.C., and we'd go out to the Capitol Grill or somewhere for a nice dinner, you'd see the same Republican and Democrat who were badmouth each other on the floor earlier that day.
Right. It was like
having dinner together and laughing and cheering each other. You know that it's all just a big hoax because, what do people with power and money want? More power and money.
Jesse Ventura said, politics, because I've been a both. Politics is just like pro wrestling. Just like you said, we'd be fighting with each other, and then we go out to dinner and
right,
glad-handed one another.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Do you think the worm's turning though? Do you think? Because these things wouldn't be exposed at all if she had gotten in.
Well, of course.
So
I'm certainly hoping that these little snippets that are coming out now that are basically planting a seed, and these seeds are now sprouting.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that these sprouts then become plants, these plants then become towering trees. And I'm hoping so because, like you said, they wouldn't have ever come out had she been elected. And now that these are coming out little by little, I'm thinking maybe people are starting to open their eyes and say, okay.
Well, their own words, their own hubris. Right. They didn't even bother to hide. They used government phones to text one another their crimes. Right. They're not even smart criminals. At least the mafia is smart enough to go ahead and, use clandestine.
I'm going to get an insurance policy against Trump ever become president so I can always be insured in my job. What the hell is that? That is corrupt beyond
Rosie O'Donnell, I'll give you $2 million if you vote for, don't vote for them.
Right.
Then D'Souza goes to jail for $2,500 donation.
Exactly. Well, because, of course, look at his films. That's why he went to jail. Is because he, basically showed the corruption of the whole Clinton Foundation and Clinton themselves. You follow the whole Clinton cash, story, and it's 100% factual. And what I don't get is how people can look at that or read that and then say, I doubt this. It is fact. It is written. And this is just what you can find from this point. If you dug around, I'm sure you'd find a whole lot more behind it. I used to do medical mission work down in Haiti. And of course, you had the Clinton Foundation that was going to rebuild Haiti after the 2010 earthquake. Well, I have to tell you right now, they haven't done a goddamn thing for that country. In that country, everything that's been rebuilt are the politicians' mansions. When you fly into Port-au-Prince, you will see the politicians' mansions, their houses, these ornate houses have been rebuilt. They have tennis courts, they have polo fields, and then right across the street from them you have people cooking under UNESCO tarps out of basically charcoal pots, cooking their meals.
That's a whole nother can of worms, is the corruption with the Clinton Foundation through Haiti and the child prostitution rings and everything else because of that can of worms.
It's disgusting. And I can't believe nobody's, nobody wants that. That's the problem is that people don't want to be told that, your messiahs are actually false. nobody wants to be told that, and now with these new revelations coming out, I'm certainly hoping that it actually starts to put a fire under some of these people, but actually make them think logically, not emotionally. Objective versus subjective, because you will never be able to argue someone down subjectively. So you have to lay objective points in front of them repeatedly, and hope that they are not ignorant. Because ignorant and lack of and dumb are two different things.
Or even completely brainwashed. If you're
dumb, right? Oh yeah. I mean, if dumb doesn't mean you don't want to learn different. Ignorant means that you just choose not to know anything different.
Yeah. It's a difference between stupidity and ignorance. Ignorance can be cured.
Yeah, if they allow themselves to.
Yeah. What you need is to supply someone. Yeah, well, if it's willful ignorance, of course, then then we get into stupidity.
And that's the whole thing about it, is that living in and around the Seattle area, I've noticed too often that there is nobody who wants to have a discourse, an educated discourse, because there's nothing educated about their discourse. It's all emotional. Right, and so you try to shoot them down.
I came up with these. Here it is. These 10. I got here. But it's a definition of a liberal. If you can find a cloud in every silver lining, you may be a liberal.
There you go. Yep.
If you can gripe about getting money back from the tax cut, you may be a liberal. If you can complain about rising economy, you may be a liberal. If you block the roads and call it progress, you may be a liberal. If you think education and healthcare come free, you may be a liberal. If you think mankind has more effect on the climate than the sun, you're an idiot and you're a liberal. If you think the end justifies the means, you are a liberal.
There you go.
If your feelings matter more than facts, you are definitely a liberal. If you think that there are more than two genders, you're very confused and you're a liberal. If you're cheering on Mueller, not knowing his history, you're a tool and a liberal.
The whole thing about it, and I like that, Nick, those are all 100% correct, and I don't even start on this whole Mueller thing, because all that keeps coming up is more and more. Collusion is actually a term that relates to fiduciary matters. It has nothing to do with any type of electoral process whatsoever, and there is no law against sitting there and having interaction with any foreign government while you are a candidate running, unless you are being treasonous in your actions. Hello, people know the law. They're looking and trying to grasp for anything, of course, because Mueller has been in the Democrats' back.
That guy's been a tool since forever.
Right.
I mean, he's been the button man for the Bushes. He hid 9/11. So, every time they needed someone to cover something up, he was the FBI director when Uranium One went down.
Right, exactly.
I mean, you can't make this crap up.
You're not going to, exactly. And to sit there and say that there's no interlink, again, I need to get on my day before my blood pressure goes up too much higher. Swear to God, I need a drink, and I didn't.
That's what I do. I'm a blood pressure raising guy.
Oh my God! Hey,
here,
let me add to your bulletproof vest.
Oh, God bless you. Here, this sort of lower the blood pressure a little bit. It's a get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton.
I love it. That's great.
So what does he do?
Not saying. Also not standing in the camera.
Police officer, he's authority, police authority.
Duck and cover.
All right, so it's a pleasure.
God bless you.
He's right
here.
He has. Thank you very much.
God bless America too.
Yes, Merry
Vote
Christmas.
for him in 2032.
Yeah.